on Worcester News tonight, new proposed legislation would limit the ability of full background checks. We have reaction. Plus, the Division I NCAA hockey tournament will be held here in Worcester this weekend. How businesses are gearing up. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Anna Botari. The Division I NCAA hockey tournament is back in Worcester. This weekend, the DCU Center will host some of the best college programs in the country. Thousands are expected to visit the city for the tournament, which is the music to the ears of local businesses. Our Cam Jandro joins us now live with those details. Cam.
Anna, what's better than playoff hockey? Not much. Worcester is one of 4 cities in the country hosting the NCAA regionals this weekend, and some nearby businesses say they're getting ready for what should be a very busy few days. The Railers Sports Tavern and Mezcal are preparing for what they expect will be a busy weekend. The NCAA tournament is returning to Worcester for the first time in 2 years.
We actually have all of our staff coming in early tomorrow, especially because we have 4 of the best teams playing across the street.
We're probably going to be heavily staffed, but we're really excited to meet all different people.
The DCU Center will host 2 games Saturday and another on Sunday. Both restaurants are just steps away from the arena, so they're expecting to host a lot of hockey fans this weekend.
Because we didn't know the amount of crowd that across the street is going to bring, so we want to be mentally and physically prepared for everybody to be here.
We're used to getting pretty slammed with the DCU and the concerts. I have a lot of confidence in our staff and that we're able to handle it.
Teams from Cornell, Boston University, Michigan, and Northeastern will make their way into the city. This is the first tournament in Worcester since the Homewood Suites opened their doors, and they say they've been preparing for weeks.
It's huge, it's a big event. So we actually double in on everything, everything from before, on staff, on food, and everything.
The 118-room hotel will be near capacity, if not full, most of the weekend. Guest services manager Ben Pierre-Paul says the last few weeks have been lively.
So we've been very busy with calls, very busy with emails, so we're trying to do our best we can to get everyone in here as quick and as open as possible. Yeah.
For the hockey-themed Railers Tavern, this weekend's tournament is another chance to get the word out.
When we're right in the middle of downtown Worcester, we definitely have all the opportunities to make our bar great, and I think that's why we succeed so well.
Now, with practices taking place tomorrow, Railers Tavern says they're opening their doors early. On Saturday, the puck drops at 1 o'clock as well as 4:30. Anna?
Thanks, Cam. Proposed legislation banning police chiefs and other employers from conducting full background checks is being met with controversy. The bill passed by the state Senate would prevent employers from looking at social media, but some say social media is important in today's society. Our Chandler Walsh has the story.
A bill passed unanimously by the state Senate is causing concern for police chiefs. The bill would keep them from searching a recruit's social media.
We feel it's an integral part of any type of background check for a police officer.
The bill prevents employers and schools from requesting access to applicants' and employees' accounts. State Senator Michael Moore says the bill updates laws according to changes in technology.
They have passwords and they have restrictions on who can gain access to it. They have an expectation of privacy.
Dudley Police Chief Stephen Weiner is the president of the Massachusetts Chiefs of Police Association. He says a recruit's social media activity is a good indication of their character.
If you're looking at whatever they're doing for online activities or how are they treating people, others online and things like that, it's a good sign of what type of person they would be.
Moore says there should be some sort of exemption for law enforcement based on the nature of their job.
You have individuals who are being given, by the nature of their position, given the right to detain and actually take away someone's civil liberties.
But Weiner calls social media a public forum. He says departments want to sit down with candidates and go through their accounts with them.
Because I think a lot of it turns into the whole fact of integrity. And integrity usually is what you have when nobody's watching you.
Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
This bill could also affect college students when applying for internships and jobs. Nichols College tells students everything they post online they should consider to be public information, even if they use the privacy settings. They tell students to use social media in a positive manner.
Use your social media platforms to share accomplishments and achievements, things that you're involved with, that you're proud of. You know, follow the grandmother rule and don't post anything out there that you wouldn't be comfortable with your grandmother seeing.
The college also recommends students Google themselves a few times a year to make sure they're putting their best foot forward and branding themselves in a professional light. A breakthrough for UMass Medical School. The university says it's identified a new gene associated with the development of ALS. As our Brittany Schaefer explains, donations from the Ice Bucket Challenge helped make the discovery possible.
A group led by a UMass Medical School researcher has identified a mutated gene linked to ALS.
For every new gene that we identify, it brings us a little bit closer to knowing what's going wrong in ALS patients.
Dr. John Landers has spent 15 years studying ALS. He says when he started, little information was known about the fatal neurodegenerative disease.
When I started off 15 years ago, there was one gene known. Now we know about, I'd say about 25.
He says there have been some big advancements in understanding ALS, in part thanks to the popularity and donations from the Ice Bucket Challenge.
Absolutely, funding that we've received is from the Ice Bucket Challenge. Now, if I say I work on ALS, everyone knows what it is, and I'm glad to see the awareness is frankly at a peak right now.
With help from an international team, Landers discovered the KIF5A gene. Its function is to move material up and down the body, but when there is a mutation, the gene can't transmit the nerve messages.
Within the KIF5A gene, that there were a increased number of mutations when we compared it to the general population, and that led us to focus on that particular gene.
This adds on to the evidence that cytoskeletal regulation and axonal transport are very important for neuronal function and in particular for ALS.
Landers' hope is to find how to reduce the complications and increase survival for people with ALS.
Hopefully, once you have one finding, quite often it leads to another. And it also increases our understanding of the disease itself and maybe even where we should be focusing our efforts.
Now, Landers says his next steps will be developing mouse models and testing compounds that could repair a KIF5A mutation. Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
Students from across central Massachusetts are taking to the streets this weekend to say never again. It's part of the March for Our Lives. The march is a nationwide event happening this Saturday in Washington, D.C. Organizers created a Worcester walk for anyone who can't make it. The student-led march was planned in the aftermath of the shooting in Parkland, Florida, killing 17 people. The goal is to raise awareness and demand legislation to prevent further shootings. Saturday's march will start in front of City Hall with a rally at noon. As Special Olympics Massachusetts continues its polar plunge season, they're thanking one of their big donors. According to the organization, for the past 2 years, the Massachusetts State Police teams have been recognized as top polar plunge fundraisers within the law enforcement category. In 2018, 4 Mass State Police teams from 3 troops have raised more than $24,000. Today is World Water Day. The holiday created by the United Nations goal is to bring aid to people who truly need it across borders. According to the UN, there are more than 663 million people living without a safe water supply close to home, spending countless hours walking to distant sources and coping with the health impacts of using contaminated water. Be Like Brit shares a tweet saying, "World Water Day, thank you to everyone who supports BLB. Because of you, we are able to help our community and give them access to clean water."